Vibe coding. Yeah, today I'm talking about vibe coding with you. So, if you do not know vibe coding, great video. If you have heard of vibe coding but you don't really know what it is, it's a great video. If you haven't been successful with vibe coding, this is a great video. And for anyone else, might be something in there too. So, basically, I want to make this quite simple. So I'm just going to explain very quickly, very briefly what vibe coding is. And then I'm going to give you an example of some vibe coding, like for a start, that you can have an idea, a simple example I'll give you. And then I just talk a little bit about the expectations that you should have when you what you want to, if you want to make more complicated things, then there might be some things that you need to consider, because I think that is missing in a lot of these hyped videos at the moment, where people say like, whoa, you can do these amazing things and you can create this amazing, like games with it, or like massive applications. And I think that is a little bit too much hyped. It is true you can do that, but there are some things you should know about that as well. Otherwise, you just get a bad experience. So I would say, let's get into it. So vibe coding means that you're basically you're talking to an AI large language model, a chatbot like ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or Gemini, and you're basically just writing in plain natural language with the AI and create code just with your plain natural language. And the way you do it is you're basically going back and forth with the AI and get it to write you the code, and you do not need to you don't need to understand the code. You don't even need to read the code. You don't need to write any code, and basically it's just copy and paste, and the AI will explain everything else that you need to do, but you do not have to do any code. That's the whole point of the vibe coding. And so let's just get started with a simple example. So I just thought this up for you. And yeah, basically we'll just go into ChatGPT real quick and do it with ChatGPT. So let's try that. So what we're doing is we go to chatgpt.com, and you probably need to still sign up, but I am on it. And so we just use any model because we're starting simple, and we say, please create something. Create a simple to-do list. And we need to tell it, make it very simple. We need to tell it exactly what we want. And we don't want to do any installations or any other fancy stuff. And yeah, it should work straight out the box without any other work. So it comes up straight away with some code here for us and a quick explanation, and then it gives us a quick rundown how to use it straight immediately. So 4 steps: copy the code, paste it, save it in a to-do.html, open it directly in the browser and by double clicking. And yes, so go into the code, copy the code, and we need to find the notepad. Yep, that's just a simple text editor. Paste it in there, Control and V, and then save as the name that it gave us, to-do.html, and then we need to click all files, otherwise it'll save it as a text file only. We want to run it, right? So it needs to be a HTML file. And now we just need to go find it in our directory where I saved it, to-do.html, and there we go. We've got something. It's not much, but we wanted it very simple, right? Now we try it out. So that into the text box, we type something and add the task. Yeah, we've got a task added, and it looks like we can just delete it. And let's try a second one. See if it does multiple. Yep, and try to delete it. Yeah, very good. Works. That's very simple. Yeah. It would be nice to be able to tick them off as well, those things, right? Not just delete the items in the list. So let's tell it to change it so that we can tick the tasks off. And I want them at the bottom so that I can still see, oh yeah, I've got them done. We've ticked them off. And basically just send that, and it comes up with the new code. Change the code up, and do the same thing. So we just have to copy it again, go back into our text editor, delete everything that you had in there before, or just delete everything. See, that's why sometimes you want to make sure you delete everything, and then paste it in, save it, and refresh the page, and then we get another to-do list, and it doesn't do anything. So that's a very good example here. We've got a bug, and because the button just doesn't do anything. But that's what vibe coding is all about. So we don't have to read the code to find the bug. We can just ask ChatGPT what to do. So now it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't do anything when we click the button, other add task button. See if it comes up with a solution there. Hopefully. I've corrected the issue and it should work perfectly again. Okay, copy everything, do the same thing again. So now I'm just gonna delete everything at once and paste it, save it again, and refresh. Let's see if it does something now. What about now? Yes, there's something. Let's try another task. Yippee. Okay, and we can maybe tick them. Yes, we can tick them and they get crossed out. Add another one. Tick another one off. Yay, nice. So it works. Awesome. So we've got a to-do list that we can tick off, and we can we could go in depth now and make it make it so that it actually saves the tasks, so that when you close the browser that you don't that it doesn't just get lost, because at the moment if I click refresh, the refresh button, it'll just delete everything again that we had in there. But you just got to talk to the chatbot, and that is vibe coding. What we just did was the vibe coding, very simple way of doing it, and yeah, it's awesome. I think it's amazing, and that's basically how I would start with something very, very simple, and so that you can experience some some working code, and that you run into little bugs but not big ones yet. So if you want to do something very complicated, you might run into a bug really quickly straight away. You can try that, of course, as well. especially now that you know that it actually works, you can try something complicated and see what it comes up with. And the large language models, the AIs, get much better all the time. So yeah, that's not a problem. You can just try. But it was a great example because we actually did run into a bug here, and it was a very simple code, I think. I don't know. I didn't read it. I didn't read the code, did you? I didn't read the code. I have no idea what it exactly did there. But I don't know, sometimes it just gets it wrong, even with very simple stuff. So it can correct itself, as you saw here as well. But yeah, sometimes when it gets very complicated, it can get quite complex, and then it can't just fix it straight away. And that's when you run into the heavier problems, and then that can be discouraging. And then you might think, oh no, the AI is actually too stupid to do that. But it might not be. And for example, I have had that many times that, for example, I got this massive code because it gets quite long. Then it's like, I don't know, 500 lines or 1,000 lines of code for a file. And then sometimes I have multiple files. And then something doesn't work. And I say, oh, this doesn't work. It doesn't do that and that. And then it creates the code again. And then it still doesn't work. And I say, oh, it still doesn't work, but now it does that and that. Or it didn't change at all. And it gives me the code again. Maybe makes some changes and it does it again. Sometimes that happens multiple times, sometimes 5-6 times, and it still doesn't work. And the problem there is that even if it gets it to work at some point, the context length of the conversation, of the chat, just gets too long. And when that gets too long, it might actually forget what it did in the beginning. So it might actually forget your initial prompt, what you actually wanted from your program, from your app that you're building. And so basically it just takes into account what it's got so far. So it's got that code that it created, but it forgets what the whole thing was about. And what you can do about that is just, you can take the code that you have in that moment, which maybe works, maybe doesn't work, but you can take that code, put it into a new chat, and just write the prompt again, or just copy and paste it from the top of your first initial chat. Take that code and that prompt, put it both into the new chat, and then it's got a fresh memory of, this is the code that we've got and this is what we actually want to achieve. So you write, I want to achieve this and this. This is the code that I've got. It doesn't really work, or I want to change something. And it just starts fresh. And that's one way around it. And then there's some other ways as well. Sometimes it's just rewriting the prompt. Maybe you wrote something wrong, or you've got a bug in your thinking how you wanted the program to work. And so there are many things. So the most important takeaway from this is that you should just start and don't be discouraged if it doesn't work. You can try again. You can try different ways, and I think it's a very valuable skill to do this, to do the vibe coding, and to do the way you prompt it. The more different apps you do, the better your prompts will get, and the better the results really as well. And also how you deal with troubles, with issues that you get. And so that's already 2 skills, right? The prompting and, dealing with issues. And then also you can actually learn coding while doing this as well a little bit. I've definitely learned a bit by also reading a bit of the code. And I always tell the AI to also put a lot of comments in there to if I want to understand it, that I can go through and understand it. And also, if I, for example, go and say put that code into a different chat or in a different AI model, like go from ChatGPT to Grok, and because sometimes Grok is better in other things, or sometimes I just want to mix it up and or try it out, then Grok will already see the comments that are in there, and it'll understand the code better as well. And I will understand the code better as well. So the other skill that you learn is actually coding yourself. And, you could, if it's a very simple fix, then you don't have to prompt the AI to give you the whole code again to copy and paste it. You can actually just edit the code very quickly, or you can edit things that you don't want to start a chat for. Like, I don't know, if you want to change the color of your website that you have built with vibe coding, then you now might understand where the color code is, and then you can just change it. So yeah, that's a few takeaways there for you. And hopefully you learned something from this. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And I'm pretty sure I'll actually do that. I'll do a run through. And that'll help a little bit more even, I guess. And thanks for watching. Thanks for getting all the way through here. All right, see you.